24th. I still need to get a report from the building inspector. I have a verbal from the fire chief. I have a written report from the Board of Health and the police department. And so far, those reports are optimistic. But the key, the selectmen have the right to either just issue this license based on the application or to hold a public hearing. And we have to do that within 45 days, and we still have a little time, but they were hoping to expedite this. So really what we need to decide tonight, if once we get those final reports, you think we'll act on this license or hold a public hearing. Now, the interesting thing about all this is it doesn't say anything about how to hold that public hearing.
Just public hearing.
Well, sometimes with these things, you've got notification requirements. I can't find those. Like a butters, it doesn't require a butter notification or anything like that. So,
That's peculiar.
yeah.
Was there any previous license there for Robbie Burns Pub, for example?
In the back building, yes. This is not at all that type of entertainment, and it's in the dining area.
It's only for the dining area, not for the barn?
It's not for the barn. They can't use the barn.
Okay.
That's very clear. Everybody is very clear on that.
Okay.
So, yes,
Is
it
it
is only for
amplified?
the, they did put amplifiers here.
Okay.
I
I want a public hearing.
Well, that's not your option.
I know.
It's this board's option.
Then I retract my request for a public hearing, please.
That was a demand, not a request.
Just a request. Could we think
The other
about
lady
that?
down the street is the
Amplification?
demand.
I mean, looking at this, it looks to me like they're pretty much trying to cover every base they can to get, cable TV, widescreen TV, which they already have, by the way. Some of this they've been doing, quite frankly, and one of the reasons we have this application is because somebody said, you might not want to do that without a license. Instrumental music, they've had some open mic nights there already. They're talking about 2 to 4 folk, bluegrass, low-key type vocals with 1 or 2 people. Casual dancing.
Well, there isn't a whole lot of room to have
There's
a whole lot
not.
of noise in there, otherwise you won't have any people, so.
Yeah, poetry readings, small
Are
plays.
there decibel limits?
It doesn't, the application doesn't ask for
No, but I mean, can you put that on the license?
Time
That's what I thought
that.
about.
They can
Poetry
only
readings,
have
that's it.
entertainment
That's it.
when they're licensed to serve alcohol.
Time, like, has to stop at 11, or is there any time?
Well, I assume we can do that. Yes, we can put restrictions on it.
And does it say how many nights a week?
They say right in here,
They're
they're
asking
saying
for 7
5 to 10
days.
p.m. Sunday,
Oh, it does say that, you're right.
and Tuesday through Saturday, 5 to 11.
5 to
But
11?
legally, they can
Yeah.
have entertainment during
5 to
their-
11, and then on Sunday,
10.
5 to
10?
Yeah.
7 nights a week.
Potentially. No, it says Tuesday through Saturday.
Within
Tuesday,
Sunday.
Saturday.
And Sunday, so Monday night they're dark.
Probably closed.
So, basically, what do we have to do?
Right now, decide whether you want a full-blown public hearing or you just want to consider granting this license. When I get those final reports, which I have said I want by the 24th.
I almost say, we really need something like this. I think also we need we almost need a public hearing. Public hearing.
We have to give them 7 days written notice for having a hearing. That's the only thing the law requires. It does not require a butter notification.
So,
There are a couple of questions out
Yes.
here, guys.
He doesn't have to
too.
Bill's hand was up before mine, but go ahead, Bill.
I just wonder, is there a special permit now at the location?
No.
A special permit issued by
Use,
whom?
or would have been the zoning board of appeals, or perhaps way back, maybe the planning board. It's
I
supposed to be
don't know.
on their deed.
I don't know.
If there's no deed, notification or whatever, then we're gonna have a little problem there.
Special permit for what?
An inn,
And an entertainment permit.
The
Well, I would think
entertainment
that the
permit's
invite
us, that's why we
will be
have that.
grandfathered.
well, the inn, I don't know is grandfathered, but it should be on their deed.
It wouldn't be on their deed if they were grandfathered. It would only be on
That's
their
why I say
deed
it
if
isn't
it's-
necessarily grandfathered. The location is, but when they first started as an inn with whatever his name was,
No athletic.
Shoreman had it for a while. But anyway, that was my question, because there may be conditions on that to begin with. If they're grandfathered, like Catamount perhaps, or some other place, then they can do what they want, because
No, they
it's an
can't.
accessory use to their permitted use or grandfathered use, but they still need this license to expand it, let's say, to whatever the license gives them to do. The lady can play her piano all she wants in the inn, I believe, but I'm not sure what's creating this license requirement.
A state law.
Hmm?
A state law creates.
No, I mean, what does the state law require after a certain number of instruments in the band?
It
Or
doesn't, it's not that specific. It
Oh.
basically covers any type of entertainment, including TVs. So,
Yeah, but if you look at this app, it says all entertainment shall be conducted so that there is no unreasonable increase in the level of noise upon the street adjoining the premises or upon any budding premises.
Right. So it's the noise part that.
So we're
is the big
scheduling a
part.
hearing. When would you like to do it?
I have pretty much told everyone the 24th, so
Okay,
does that work?
24th of,
February, yeah.
Okay. 2 weeks from tonight. Okay,
Question?
yes, Julie.
I'm not familiar with the licensing requirements of this particular entertainment license either. The various boards were asked to submit a letter, and the board said, the Board of Health, said that we performed our usual inspections, and based on our usual inspections, everything passed. A food license is not transferable, so if the property should change ownership, it would alter the Board of Health's food permit. I do
Well,
not.
this isn't transferable either, so.
Okay, so the
nothing to-
entertainment license is not transferable.
Right,
Thank
and
you.
neither are liquor licenses automatically, we have to have a hearing,
Okay.
so, yeah.
So it will, if there's a transfer, then the process goes.
Goes right back to the
Go back.
beginning.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, John.
I think the best thing to do is just look at the Mass General Laws 148, 183A, those first two lines. Let me just read this, maybe this will clarify this a little bit for everybody. You will need this license if you are the holder of a common victualler or alcohol license and feature any kind of concert, dance exhibition, cabaret, or public show of any description. I may need this license.
Those can't be licensed.
A public show or any description would include dancing by patrons or performers, recorded or live music, use of an amplification system, and theatrical play or exhibition, a film, a floor show, or light show, whether live or recorded.
So it just means if you hold a food permit or an alcohol license, that you also need to have this entertainment license.
Yeah.
No,
Only
if you want to
If you wanna do
entertain, if you
entertainment.
charge for booze and you've got a band,
Yes.
essentially, you gotta do it. but it's noise, and the
Okay.
noise is factored into chapter, I think it's General Law 140, Section 180.
Yep.
Noise is really the paramount thing. I don't care what anybody
And
does
lights.
behind it.
Usually.
And lights and noise, sound pollution and light pollution.
Noise falls under the nuisance statutes.
Yeah.
So we're having a hearing on the 24th.
Public health.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Single stream recycling. Want to talk about that at all tonight or no?
I don't have anything more to report.
I seem to get an issue though with the number of polls with our paper.
Yeah, last month was a really bad month for polls, and then all of a sudden I just noticed that in the past 4 months, we have a trend developing of excessive polls on the paper container. I don't know how single stream will lead to more polls on the container, but we'll only have one container.
Well, I'm just concerned that it may either we have some problem with the equipment or somebody's getting anxious when it starts straining a little bit.
Yeah, but couldn't even have possibly been getting to the point of straining. I mean, one of them went out at 1 point something tons.
1.4
Yeah, so.
1.63.
and 1.68.
Yeah, so that's a really light pole, and then the most I ever saw was close to 5, so there's a big leeway, there's
Yeah.
in between.
It's not being filled proper.
No,
Did you talk to Tim about that, point that out to Tim so that he could?
I
No?
didn't, I just
Maybe
wrote
it's-
the memo, I haven't talked to him in
Yeah.
detail yet.
But did you give the memo to Tim?
Yeah, I
Oh,
put it in
okay.
his box.
We should
Yeah.
be pulling 4 to 5 tons.
Well, that's what this says, the highest weight is 4.92, so that's close to 5 tons.
I'm going to a recycling meeting tomorrow, and I'll ask around if there's a way, I wonder if there's a scale, or if there's a gauge that you put on a container, that could give you an idea.
Well, it should be on the thing there, there's a pressure gauge. And it should be building, when it gets full, it should be
You would think,
pushing harder.
yeah. So let me ask around if there is such a thing.
Well, how do you know when to call for a pickup?
That's the question, because there are some really light
Yeah.
You can tell
I
poles.
mean,
So,
the container down at school, we've had with 1.8 tons in it, but that was hand-packed. This one here, we're
this has got a
pushing.
hydraulic
Yeah.
compactor. You would think it would fit
Well,
more.
it's either, like I say, either one of two things, either the hydraulics are not functioning
Okay, that's true.
proper, or
Could be.
we're not filling the container. We're not,
It could be too, is he could be waiting too long to compact. You know, if you compact more often, you're gonna get more in.
mm-hmm.
If you compact less often, you're gonna have more dead air space.
So Lou's on a learning curve?
Could be.
Lou is on a learning curve?
Sometimes you just have to have the conversation.
And it's
then once
been
you have
cold
the
too,
conversation-
and cold weather makes hydraulics do funky things too.
Okay, it has been cold.
All right,
All right, well, don't skip over single stream though, because we only had until March 1st to make this decision, and I'm ready. Well, we have other things to do next meeting. So we did get the answers that the grant funds have to be used for a compactor just for single stream. We can't use it for any other purpose. It's not likely that our turning down this grant will impact future awards. So I would like to make a motion that we do not adopt single stream at this time. Wait and see what Murph is going to do and maybe apply for another grant.
Second.
any discussion? I apologize, Juliet, but I'm gonna favor the other two here.
No, don't apologize. I couldn't make a strong recommendation to switch, so.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could I, when you were not very strong in your recommendation the last time, I read more on it, I said, yeah, you're right, we don't need to go there yet.
I think if it was working, and I think it works very well, keep on doing it.
Okay.
But you're up next too, Solarize Mass.
Solarized Mass. Well, the installer has been chosen, the committee, the team, has chosen RGS Energy. RGS is Real Good Solar. They were the installer for the town of Lee last year, and Williamstown and Northampton. So they have great experience. Their price is very, very competitive. At the Solar 101 presentation, the state used the figure of $4 per watt for an average price of a solar system. Real Good Solar is $3.48, so they're
Wow.
52 cents less than the state average. It's a very competitive price.
And that's the beginning price.
That's the beginning price. That's before the incentives, the tax credits, the rebates, the
Yeah,
solar
But
recs.
that's also with zero
It's here.
people signing up.
That's assuming that we reach the 5th tier. But I have to say, all of the Berkshire towns and all of the towns that Real Goods has worked for on the Solarized project all reached the 5th tier. So my counterpart in Great Barrington, Malcolm, and I just are assuming that we're going to reach the 5th tier. And this is the advantage of two towns working together, because we don't have to have one town getting 200 kilowatts and the other town getting 200 kilowatts. It's a combined kilowatt. So Great Barrington and Egremont, we will easily make the 5th tier. Thank you. I'm getting tips from my 241 people have already signed on for assessments. And that doesn't mean that there's no limit. There's no okay, we can't take any more. So please do continue to sign on.
Approximately how many properties do we have total?
We have
Only around
we have-
4,000?
We have like 760, right? If you just looked at what Harold gave us, I think it said 757. So what does Great Barrington have?
Yeah, well, they have 7,000 residents. But it doesn't have to be on your
There's
house.
4,000 properties.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be on your house, it could be on a barn.
Yeah, but it's still a property.
True.
It has to be,
Just one property.
One
Yeah.
property.
And it doesn't have to be solely residential, it could be commercial, which is
yeah.
really, really good for Great Barrington.
So if I could just comment on going through this process, Mass CEC said that they've done a lot of these Solarized Mass programs in big cities and have never exceeded 200 people at a Solar 101 meeting. Great Barrington Egremont had over 250.
Well,
We had more than Boston had for
Yeah, it was
years.
full. It was packed.
It was standing room only, it was
yeah,
phenomenal.
I was glad somebody
Yeah.
saved us a chair in the front row.
Yeah, thank you. And Mary as municipal rep was part of the interview team. We received 8 bids. The bids were very thorough, and it ranged from companies that literally had 2 employees and were brand new to solar, to companies that are, international companies that have Massachusetts offices, that employ Massachusetts, have Massachusetts employees. The bids were very, very good. We rounded it down to 3, and then last week, Mary and I went to an actual person-to-person interview, and all 3 in the running were excellent. But the decision to go with RGS Energy was a unanimous decision, and we all agreed that they didn't have any, it was so tough that we had to do sort of pros and cons, and this company, we didn't have any cons for them. They were just really, really, really strong.
Wouldn't want to get caught by it.
Yeah. So thank you, Mary, for your help. And
Yes,
welcome.
Robin.
I just wondered, do we have any idea now how many second homeowners have signed on?
I have, the breakdown from the 242, 3/4 of them are from Great Barrington. We also have a lot of people from other towns, and we have to get the message out that you don't have to be from Egremont and Great Barrington. This is one of the reasons why we went with this company. They invite people from other Berkshire County towns to also take part. We won't be given the credit for the kilowatts, but they will get the Tier 5 price if we should reach Tier 5. So there were a lot of people at the first meeting from Monterey, and from New Marlboro, and from Sheffield, and from Alford. They'll be eligible. Now, to answer your question about weekenders, we haven't delineated it from signups in terms of second homeowners, but our next meeting, which will be held on March 2nd, which is a Sunday morning, it will either be held at the triplex. They only have 100 seats. In our last meeting, we had 250 people, so I contacted the Mahaly today, and there's a very, very good chance that the Mahaly will hold our next meeting. So, and that will be advertised too. I mean, everyone is welcome, but because we're having it on a weekend, we hope more second homeowners and weekenders will come.
Yeah, this is a tough time of year to get that.
Yeah, March 2nd, but then we're gonna hold another one April, the first Sunday in April, so it won't be the last.
I didn't realize other residents in other towns could be part of it.
We made that a question in the interview, and RGS Energy just was like, you bet, the more the better. So, where some companies said, we don't really wanna do that, and that was a favorable thing for them.
The one thing that I see that may hurt Egremont in this is that, and I didn't know this until the interview, is that you have to have internet service in order to, because there's reporting requirements.
If you lease or if you're a PPA, you have to have broadband at your house, because the information is then taken to the aggregator, who is then selling the solar energy generated. If you own it, then you don't have to have broadband. If you want to monitor it, the monitoring, and this company offers free lifetime monitoring. So with our solar panels up at the transfer station, we have a internet monitoring system that at any time you can check to see how it's doing and how much solar you've generated. The homeowner can have that, but it doesn't have to be, I don't think it has to be on their home. It could be, you could monitor it from another location. So if a second homeowner has broadband in your home, they can monitor it there. They just can't monitor it from that location. So yeah, it makes, for the leasing option, it has to be a structure that has broadband.
I think, if we're gonna depend on MDI for broadband, I think none of us will be here. But satellite, I see more and more becoming a reality around here. I know you can already get, HughesNet can pick up for a good percentage of the houses in town. And Dish is supposed to be coming in pretty quick with this, pretty soon with the satellite cable. So that could make a difference for that.
Yeah, it's amazing. 5 years ago, personally, I thought, well, we don't need to rely on internet as much, and we've been fine without it for all these hundreds of years of technology, and now it's so important. It really, really is. But that's another conversation.
Okay,
Going
thank you,
great.
Jim. Yep.
Thank you for your support, and thank you, Mary.
So when will they begin doing the assessments?
We are having our first meeting with the installer tomorrow, and their first order of business is to contact all of the 241, to contact them and say, okay, let's work together and schedule your assessment. The first thing they do is they do an aerial, but they contact the homeowner and they say, we are beginning to do the assessment of your home, just double checking with you, are you located at 3 Baldwin Hill? And the person gets back yes. So they do a preliminary through satellite imaging, and then from there they'll contact the homeowner and schedule the appointment. So I think within the next week they will have contacted all of the 241 to schedule.
Super. Things are happening.
Things are happening. We're cooking.
Couple years. Right. Police facility and technology update.
we've got them moved in, but I can't get them moved out. Yeah.
Are you talking about technology?
No, I'm talking about police. Technology, I think we finally have under control.
Well, we have a new full-time employee.
Pretty much, we do have a new full-time employee, unfortunately, and we're gonna have to talk about that for the budget too, by the way. But, we've gotten Acuity is now, on board free of charge until this project is up and running completely. Our in-house IT guy is not free of charge, but at least he's not $150 an hour. Well, I think that, I didn't hear any complaints after the weekend. Will and I are now on the network fully. I think we're running very smoothly. So I'm optimistic, knock on wood, that we might have gotten all the bumps out of that road.
How long before we get the other?
He's coming back into work tomorrow. I know. And it took, mine was the longest.
Yeah.
But I think we got it all ironed out, and, Will's only took him an hour or so to get, so.
What about, the accountant and
Hasn't done that. Will and I are the only ones.
We're moving software off of the
Right.
desktops in here onto the server, so that may take a little more to,
that's gonna take some time to do it right.
that's one of the key components of the whole deal, is getting our accounting software on the server.
Once you get that, then we get the backup. The backup and the redundancy that we really need.
And then I think we could target those things upstairs,
Like these.
and get them on the server, so we're all our town businesses united on the server where it's supposed to be. And then we gotta make sure we're getting the proper backup.
I know that Matt and Nathan did some stuff on the backup stuff.
Now, my understanding is we're doing a local backup as well as a backup to the cloud, offsite.
I stopped doing my off-site backup,
Yeah.
but we're still doing all the other computers. So, we're still doing the flash drive backups on everything except for mine and Will's right now.
Yeah. But that's on the server, and the server's being
Yes.
backed up.
I'm assuming that's what Matt and Nathan, I really haven't gotten into that with them.
Could you
But
just
I know
ask,
there was discussion of, and Nathan said we're all set with backups, so, all right. So we are on the fiber now. Our internet is, our phones still aren't.
What do we need to do to,
They did all of the work, I'm just waiting for them to call and tell me when they're switching them over.
no, I mean, what do
Oh.
we need to do to get our illustrious,
I'll be prodding him along like I do Jack. I don't know. I think what's left in there is junk, and somebody just needs to say, hey, take it to the dump. But getting them to do that.
so we agreed to put it upstairs.
They did move some stuff upstairs.
We could put it all in the back of my truck, and then I'll take it over and put it on their handicap
Yeah.
ramp, and then they gotta clear it off.
Yeah, I emailed you guys the mock-up of the sign.
That's what I forgot to do today. I'll get that tomorrow.
Okay.
What are the Army's aviator wings? Do you remember?
Which one?
Helicopter pilot, Army helicopter pilot.
No.
Bless you.
I meant to email my son, and I didn't. So I will tomorrow.
What did you think about the colors? I'm having a little problem with those colors.
should be, blue and gold, because
It is blue and gold.
that's cavalry, I know that because my son's a cavalry, one of my sons is a cavalry scout.
It just looked awfully glaringly bright to me against, because did you see the picture where he put it right on the building?
Yeah.
Mm,
Personally,
That was just,
I would say I'd use black rose.
really? So then how do you get the blue and the gold?
Well, use blue and gold. But ask Tommy,